yourself? What will you sacrifice for what you believe?
You must be truly desperate to come to me for help.
You should know that when you betray me, I will kill you.
When do we start?
Hi everyone, Tony from Hack the Movies here with Kate, and we saw Thor: The Dark World, or as I like to call it, Blonde Guy with Hammer 2, Iceland. This film takes place 2 years after the first one, a year after Avengers.
Yeah, around that time period.
Natalie Portman is apparently dating the guy from Bridesmaids, the British guy from Bridesmaids.
Well, she went on one date.
Yes.
They met online, I think.
I'm gonna just begin this here. Thor is no longer meant for men, and that is very, very clear with this movie. The producers are geniuses. This is like the ultimate female superhero movie, which is ironically not about a female superhero. Yeah. So, what do girls like? They like Bridesmaids. Who did they like in Bridesmaids? Oh, they thought the British guy was cute. So they worked him in here. There's a pointless 30-second scene of Thor washing his abs, which amounts to nothing except for people in the audience to freak out.
It was it. I was like...
They still haven't explained how he got to the Earth in the Avengers
Dark magic.
other than the dark magic.
Dad must have sent you a dark magic.
I guess the Tesseracts built the Bifrost for them?
No, or his special spear.
Anyway, so Bifrost is fixed.
Well, in the comics, the hammer can do multi-dimensional travel. So why does he even need the damn Rainbow Bridge?
For everyone else, I guess. I don't know. I guess, yeah, so Thor is battling, and meanwhile, Loki is now in Asgard, and he is under arrest.
And they have the nicest prisons.
They really
Asgard
do.
has really nice prisons.
Well, at least Loki did. I mean, the other guys, like...
Well, they had a share, but it was still the same.
They didn't have a toilet, though. So it wasn't that nice, if you think about it.
True.
Loki could magic away his shit, but those other guys, they're just sitting in there with it. Yeah, so Loki is being chewed out by Odin, who is now the King Triton? Triton from Little Mermaid, basically. It's the same character now.
Oh, help me, Ariel. I am going to get through to you. And if this is the only way, so be it.
And the bad guy in this movie, Malekith.
Yes, that word.
Yes.
Mal.
The dark...
We're gonna call it Mal for this review.
The dark elf, Mal.
Which they're the ugliest fucks in the world. They are ugly.
And his sidekick, Mr. Echo from Lost.
Mm-hmm.
I do know his real name. I cannot pronounce it for the life of me, so I'm not even gonna try. He's Mr. Echo from Lost. There were like, there was like this army of elves that... Alright, the villains kind of suck in this movie. I'm just gonna say
the
it.
Frost Giants were a lot more badass.
There was like a connection with the Frost Giants. The villains in this one, they are like your run-of-the-mill fantasy villains. They're like, oh, we want dark energy to make...
They just want the world dark.
They want to make the universe dark.
Yeah.
Al-Ayfihi Velamefe, Rashidente Ayafanta.
So their whole plan is to get the ether, red swirly thing.
Red liquid thing that was trapped in a rock and then gets...
Yeah, the MacGuffin. They're going to use that because the realms are merging, which we'll mention later because that comes up pretty well.
Mm-hmm.
And like there's different portals opening up and they can like just shut off all the lights in the universe for some reason. So to make up for having such a lame villain, they made sure to give Loki plenty of screen time.
Yes.
It's basically like a buddy, like, not buddy cop, but like, it's,
Kind of.
It reminded me a lot of X-Men 2, where the X-Men had to team up with Magneto and the bad guys to fight a common villain. So that's basically what it was, and Loki does good, and Loki's real, I thought he was going to be annoying, especially since I heard they filmed extra scenes for him. I was like, oh no, I don't like when they do that in movies. I'm like, they're going to give him more screen time. I was afraid it was going to turn into a Jack Sparrow thing, where it's like, oh yeah, we liked him in small doses. Then just it's like, shut the fuck up, Johnny Depp. You're starting to get annoying.
It's time for you to go now. Okay.
I like Darcy. I think
Yeah.
Darcy's like a comedic relief, and there's a lot of Darcy compared to the first
Yeah.
Thor.
You don't really need a lot of
You
Darcy.
don't really need Darcy.
But they broke the, what's that test called? The Bechdel test?
Yeah.
It means you have to have a scene in the movie with two women talking about something other than a man. And
Yeah, they
her and
talk
Natalie
about
Portman
science.
talk about science,
A
so...
lot.
In a fucking, not summer, a fucking big budget movie, that's rare that you find that. So yeah, they're discovering the anomalies, the portals.
Yeah.
Natalie Portman gets sucked into one.
For some odd reason, Natalie Portman's always in the right... Jane
Always.
Foster's always where Thor just ends up happening.
Exactly.
Like, they're just like, oh, we're staying at your mom's place in England. You never see the mom.
Never.
You don't know what's going on.
Never. Even
But
when they
she's
go back
there.
to that. Yeah.
They go back to the mom's house, but she's not there. Where's she at?
So she gets sucked into the portal, and then the red thing goes into her for some reason.
Yeah.
And at first, I thought she was gonna be. I thought it was gonna be like an X-Men 3 thing where Jean Grey became the Phoenix, because it looked just like that movie. Like her eyes would turn black and it looked creepy. And I'm like, oh, because X-Men 3 wasn't that good. I'm like, oh, I'm getting bad flashbacks. But nope, they pull it out of her eventually.
Yeah.
It's pretty easily
It was pretty
too.
just like, eh.
Yep. So they get attacked by Mal, Mal and Mr. Echo Ogre. And they kill Frigga, and then Odin decides he wants to go to war, which was a total 180 from the first movie. Well, I guess in this one it was more warranted. He was attacked. Like the first one,
Killed
it was
his
like
wife.
Thor was like and his wife is dead. So, by the way, I'm gonna mention it. I know you hate it. When his wife died, they had a funeral for her, and it looked just like Tangled. They put
It did. It was
they
like,
put orbs in the air, and it looks
was-
just like the paper lantern scene.
and
I'm-
like even like Asgard's like kind of shaped. Like it was.
Yep. But everyone there is in their finest Asgardian gear, and everyone's wearing their capes and their armor and their helmets, except for motherfucking Thor. You think he would put his helmet on at his mom's funeral.
Well, maybe out
No.
of respect, like, you know how we take our baseball caps off when the national anthem happens?
Yeah.
Maybe
Her
that's-
husband is wearing a winged horned helmet.
Did he wear the helmet? I
Yes! Yeah, they were all in their best gear. And Thor's like, "Psh, it's just my mom. Like, I don't need to put this
Well,
on.
he didn't have such a nice helmet like this one.
I really like that. I like that he fought a Cronin in it, that big rock monster.
Yeah.
That's the first thing Thor ever fought in Journey into Mystery number 63. That was the first Thor appearance. I did my research on it. But one of the rock monsters he fights came back decades later in Planet Hulk, and he's talking to the Hulk, and he's like, yeah, I went to Earth once, we thought they were a bunch of pussies, then we got there was a guy in a wing helmet that kicked our ass. So it was cool, and his name was like, I think, Krog or Korg.
Yeah.
And so it's nice knowing that he might exist in this universe. I know they'll never do Planet Hulk, because that would just be too expensive, but it's nice knowing he's out there somewhere.
All yours.
Anyone else?
She's kind of weak.
Yeah.
Like, during that whole, like...
Her relationship with Thor is really shallow.
Yeah.
Like, and I really want them to explore that and point it out in the next movie. Like,
It's shallow, but then, like, during the scene where Thor's mom, what's her name?
Frigga.
Frigga. Is
Who's not his real mom, but
Yeah.
they'll never mention that.
Who's
But
defending her from
Yeah.
Mally. And, you know, she ends up getting killed. She's just, like standing by, like, do something! Like,
Well,
I've
that-
just been like, do something!
well, she still had the red
I
gooey
know, but
stuff in her.
still, like, I just felt like, I wish they would have made her a little bit more stronger, like how they made Pepper. in
Yeah.
Iron Man
Pepper's a
3.
really good character.
Pepper's, like, probably one of the best non-super chicks.
The Peggy girl in Captain America was really good too.
Mhm.
Liv Tyler was forgettable. Yeah, so she's just kind of like
She's just,
a little too ditzy to be a scientist. And-
yeah, it's kind of like, how are you a scientist?
Yeah, I hope in the next movie, now that he's back on Earth, which you missed because you didn't stay to the very end of the
Thanks,
credits.
Monica.
He does come back. I kind of want the third movie to be about how, like, they realize that they're just really shallow. And
Yeah.
they're like, oh, we don't really have a lot in common.
Oh.
I guess the only thing that really has in common is she's an astrophysicist.
And he's from outer space.
And he's from outer space, so they can learn a lot from each other. I think that, maybe. I don't know if that's enough to build a
Well, in the
relationship
comics, I
on.
think they build a better relationship because he has that alter ego where he's a doctor. Like,
And
not-
she's
but-
a nurse in the
yeah,
comics.
and she's a nurse in the comics, but
But
they don't have that.
They don't have that in the new one,
movies.
so it's a little different. But people like Natalie Portman, so they throw her.
I don't know. It's not like I like Jane Foster. I just wish they would make her like a little bit more tougher.
I think you missed a column.
Shut up!
Look, why don't you let me take over? I'm clearly the best pilot.
Is that right? Well, out of the two of us, which one can actually fly?
This one, they got Brian Tyler to do the music. He did Iron Man 3, and I don't think we even heard the Iron Man theme in that. He's the ultimate guy in Hollywood to go to when you just need fucking background noise.
Yeah.
He should change his name to fucking background noise. He's never done anything cool. Yes, that was like a real step down because I have the Thor soundtrack on my iPod. And I have a genius idea. Disney, hit me up. You own Thor, and you own the Muppets. You could totally do a spin-off with Kermit the Frog as Throg.
And then I want Gonzo as Loki. And I think...
Gonzo, look, they fight rats. In the comic, they fight rats, so you can get the little rat characters.
Pepe.
You can get Pepe in there.
And then the Swedish Chef has to be Papa Skarsgård.
The Swedish Chef should play Stellan Skarsgård's brother and still show up in the other Marvel, and they'll never address that
he's naked, but he's wearing his apron.
They'll never address that he's a Muppet. That would be so good. They're like, oh yeah, Eric Selvig.
Sven, what are you doing here, Sven?
Who's this? Oh, this is my brother, Thor. And he's like, oh,
he's
yes.
a scientist. He studies rocks.
So coming summer 2017.
2000 never.
Kermit the Throg.
Why are there so many songs about rainbow bridges? And what's on Jotunheim?
Thor, your bravery will not ease your pain. Your family, your world will be extinguished.
We're running out of time.
The very fabric of reality will be torn apart.
I'll find a way to save us all.